We moved into the house on Harper Avenue in the fall of 2018. I had just turned 13, and my mom was trying to start fresh after the divorce. The place was smaller than our old house, a single-story brick home with fading shutters and a squeaky front porch. But it was clean, quiet, and cheap, which, now that I think about it, should have been a red flag. It sat on a dead-end street at the edge of a small Midwestern town, the kind of place where everybody waves, but no one knows your name. Woods pressed up against the back fence, and a rusted chain-link gate separated our backyard from a sloped hill thick with leaves and fallen tree limbs. The house had a weird layout. The hallway curved in a way that didn't make sense, and there were these random dips in the floor, like the foundation had settled unevenly. One of the first things I noticed was a tiny door in my bedroom closet, barely 2 feet high. It was made of the same wood as the trim, with a tarnished brass handle. At first, I thought it was for plumbing or something. My mom called it the crawlspace and told me not to mess with it. But I was 13. Of course I messed with it. The first time I opened it, I expected to see pipes or dirt or at least spiderwebs. But it wasn't like that at all. The space stretched back a good 10 feet, and the walls were covered in what looked like old floral wallpaper. Someone had laid down stained carpeting. A tiny lamp with a pull chain sat in the corner on top of an overturned milk crate. It felt lived in. I only stayed inside for a minute, maybe 2. But I got this weird pressure in my chest, like the air was too heavy. I never told my mom. Just shut the door and pushed a box in front of it. But from that night on, I started hearing noises, soft taps from the closet wall, like knuckles gently rapping on drywall. It happened almost every night. Then the smell started. At first, it was faint, like old food or dirty laundry. But over the next few weeks, it grew stronger, like something rotting. I kept spraying air freshener in my room, cracking my window even though it was freezing outside. I even blamed our dog, Max. My mom said maybe a squirrel died under the house. But it wasn't that kind of smell. One night in early December, I woke up to Max growling at my closet. He wasn't barking, just this low, constant growl with his hackles raised. His body was tense, and he kept glancing back at me like he was waiting for me to do something. The smell was back, stronger than ever. I got up and flipped on my lamp. That's when I saw it. The crawlspace door was cracked open about an inch. I froze. Max was still growling, and I swear I could hear breathing. Slow, ragged, just beyond the door. I backed out of the room and slept on the couch that night. I didn't say anything to my mom because I knew she'd brush it off. But the next day, I screwed the door shut. Every corner, every edge. Then I pushed my dresser in front of it. It stayed that way for almost 2 months. I didn't hear anything. No smell, no tapping. I thought maybe it was over. Then came February. One night, I woke up to the sound of wood cracking, like something had snapped under pressure. I sat up and turned toward the closet. My dresser was pushed out from the wall. Not all the way, just a few inches. But enough that I could see the screws I had put in were lying on the floor, like someone had twisted them out from the inside. I didn't move. I couldn't. Max wasn't even in my room anymore. He had started sleeping in the hallway. That's how scared he was. I wanted to scream, but my throat locked up. Instead, I just sat there staring at that crack in the door until the sun came up. That morning, I begged my mom to let us move. I told her I hated the house, that it didn't feel right. She said we couldn't afford it, that I was just being dramatic. So I tried to deal with it. But everything got worse. Doors would open on their own. Light bulbs flickered and burned out constantly. I started locking my bedroom door at night. I taped the crawlspace shut. And still, I'd hear footsteps. Not from the hallway, from inside the walls. Shuffling movements, dragging sounds, like someone crawling just behind the plaster. One night in March, I woke up to something I'll never forget. I was lying on my side facing the wall, and I felt something touch my hair. Not gently, like a hand brushing it back slowly, curiously. I whipped around, heart pounding, but no one was there. My closet door was wide open, the tape torn like paper. the dresser pushed into the middle of the room. I ran straight to my mom's room and screamed that someone was in the house. She got up, grabbed her phone, and called the police. They didn't find anyone. No forced entry, no signs of a break-in. But here's where it gets real. A few weeks later, a plumber came to fix a leak under the house. When he opened the crawlspace door, not the one in my room, but the one under the porch, he found food wrappers, a dirty blanket, and a broken cell phone. Somebody had been living under our house for months. The police said it was probably a drifter, someone passing through. But I knew better. That wasn't someone outside. That presence. It had been watching me, breathing behind the walls, touching my hair while I slept. We moved in May. My mom said she got a promotion and found a better place closer to her job. But I think deep down, she knew. Because the night before we left, she slept on the floor of my room, right in front of the crawlspace. This happened to my older brother, Marcus, in 2014, when he was a senior in high school. He told it to me once, just once, and never brought it up again after that. I was only 10 at the time, so I didn't fully understand how disturbing it really was until I got older. Marcus had this best friend named Jordan. They were inseparable, same classes, same jokes, even dressed alike half the time. Jordan was the kind of kid who never really took things seriously, always making fun of everything. So when he told Marcus he wanted to do something retro for their senior yearbook memories, Marcus thought it was a joke. Jordan wanted to take pictures in one of those old-fashioned photo booths, the kind you only see at malls or carnivals now. He said it would be funny, different. Marcus agreed. That Saturday, they drove out to the only place nearby that still had one. A sketchy, half-abandoned outlet mall about 30 minutes from town. Most of the stores were empty. The lighting inside was weird. Half the overhead fluorescents flickered or were burned out, and the echo when you walked made the whole place feel hollow. But in the corner near what used to be an arcade, the photo booth was still there. It was rusted around the edges and smelled like old carpet and cheap plastic. But it worked. They got in, crammed side by side, and did what any two teenage guys would do, made dumb faces, flipped off the camera, stuck out their tongues. After the last flash, the machine whirred and spit out a strip of 4 pictures. Except something was wrong. In the first photo, it was just Marcus and Jordan, both smiling. The second photo, same thing, only now Marcus wasn't smiling. He said later that he felt something change, like the air got heavier. In the third photo, Marcus's expression had gone completely blank, and Jordan looked scared. His eyes weren't on the camera. He was staring at something beside Marcus. The fourth photo? There was someone else in the booth. A third face. Right behind Marcus. Pale skin, sunken eyes, no eyebrows. The mouth was open, not smiling, just hanging open like it had been caught mid-breath. No details. Just a washed-out figure, crouched behind them, leaning in between their shoulders. Marcus didn't laugh. He didn't even speak. He just stared at the strip of photos and then slowly handed it to Jordan, who went dead quiet. They got out of the booth and walked straight back to the car. No words. No jokes. That night, Jordan sent Marcus a photo, a blurry image of the strip, torn in half. He said he didn't want to keep it. That he didn't even want it in his room. Marcus didn't either. He told me he burned his half in the kitchen sink while Mom was asleep. 3 days later, Jordan stopped coming to school. He didn't answer texts. Didn't post anything. Teachers said he was dealing with a family issue. His parents wouldn't answer the door when Marcus went over. A week passed. Then 2. Then Jordan's mom came to school in tears. She told the principal that Jordan had run away. Left a note. Took some clothes. Gone. The cops didn't have anything. No sightings, no trail. Gone. Marcus didn't say much after that. He stopped talking in class. Stopped hanging out with his other friends. He started sleeping with the lights on, something I only knew because our rooms shared a wall. and I could see the glow under his door every night. One night, I walked by his room and heard him crying. Quiet, like he didn't want anyone to know. I opened the door just a crack. He was sitting on the edge of his bed, staring at the wall, with a photo strip in his hand. Only, it wasn't torn anymore. I swear on everything, I saw the full strip. 4 photos. Crisp and clean like it had just printed. And the thing in the last picture? It wasn't behind Marcus anymore. It was behind Jordan. Staring straight at the lens. Head tilted, mouth wider this time. Like it was smiling. I asked him the next morning if he still had the photo. He looked at me like I was insane and said he burned it weeks ago. That was the end of it for a while. Marcus graduated and moved out that summer. We barely saw him. He started college 2 hours away and didn't come home much. But last year, I got a package in the mail. No return address. Just my name on the front in big black letters. Inside was a photo strip. The same 4 pictures. Only this time, all 3 figures were staring at the camera in the last frame. Marcus, Jordan, and that thing. All 3 smiling. I called Marcus immediately. He picked up after 3 rings and I asked if he sent it. There was a long pause. Then he said, "You saw it too?" I said yeah. I asked him where the picture came from, how it was even still around. He didn't answer right away. Just breathed into the phone, then whispered, "Don't take photos in mirrors. Don't take photos in booths. Don't take photos when you're alone." Then he hung up. I haven't seen him since. He stopped answering texts 2 months ago. Deleted his social accounts. Even his phone number changed. I think he's hiding. I think he's running from whatever it is that followed them home. And sometimes, when I pass by reflective glass, a car window, a microwave door, even my bathroom mirror, I swear, I see a third face. Just for a second. Just long enough to wonder if the picture is changing again. And if I'm the one in the 4th frame now. In 2021, I worked front desk at a hotel off the interstate in Pennsylvania. One of those cheap chains, nothing fancy, but we stayed busy thanks to truckers, families on road trips, and the occasional sketchy guy paying in cash. I worked the night shift, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. It was mostly quiet. I'd bring a book or watch movies on my tablet when no one was around. There was a camera monitor, a single desk light, and a buzzer to open the lobby doors after midnight. Everything changed on a Wednesday in early November. It was around 2:30 a.m. when the buzzer rang. I glanced at the monitor. A woman stood outside. Mid-30s, long red hair, wearing a hoodie that looked a little too thin for the cold. She wasn't carrying a bag, just a purse slung over her shoulder. I pressed the buzzer and heard the lock click. She stepped inside and immediately smiled. But it didn't reach her eyes. "Hi," she said. "Do you have a room?" I nodded. "Just for one night?" She tilted her head. "We'll see." That gave me pause, but I tried not to show it. I asked for her ID. She handed me a license, North Carolina, but the picture was wrong. It looked almost like her, but not quite. The eyes were darker, the chin a little sharper. I pretended not to notice and gave her the key card. "Room 1313, I said automatically. It was just the next room on the list. She looked at the card, then back at me. "There's no 13th floor, she said. I blinked. "Sorry?" She smiled again, slower this time. "Buildings skip the 13th floor. It's superstition. But not this one, right?" I laughed nervously. "Well, our rooms start at 1001. It's just a numbering system." She didn't respond. Just took the card and walked off toward the elevator. Here's the thing. Room 1313 doesn't exist. We only have 120 rooms. The top floor ends at 1112. The computer shouldn't have even generated that room number. I checked the screen. There it was. Occupied. Room 1313. Guest name, Judith Arlo. But the name was gray, Not black like it usually is. No payment details. No contact info. Just there. I stood up and watched the security feed. She didn't go up the elevator. She walked straight down the hallway past the vending machines. Then the feed cut out. Black screen. No signal. I checked the rest of the cameras. Everything worked. Lobby, parking lot, stairwells. All clear. Except the west hallway. Gone. I rebooted the system, but the feed wouldn't return. By 3 a.m., I was starting to panic. I printed the registry and scrolled through manually. Room 1313 didn't show up. Neither did the name Judith Arlo. But the key log showed her keycard had been used. Twice. I called my manager. No answer. Called maintenance. No answer. I thought about calling the cops, but what would I even say? That a room magically appeared and a woman with the wrong face went inside? So I did the dumb thing. I went upstairs. The west hallway was long and narrow, with older wallpaper that never got replaced. Half the bulbs overhead flickered. I counted as I walked. 1309, 1310, 1311, 1312. Then nothing. Just wall. But right as I was about to turn around, the hallway light above me buzzed, and a door faded into view. I don't mean it opened. I mean it formed like fog coalescing into wood. Like it was never there until I looked hard enough. The plaque said 1313. The handle was brass, cold to the touch. I knocked once. No answer. I knocked again. Still nothing. Then I slid the master keycard into the lock. It turned green. The door creaked open. Inside was a room. But not a hotel room. It looked like a bedroom from the 1950s. Pink wallpaper, a floral bedspread, lace curtains drawn shut. The light was dim, coming from an old lamp with a cracked shade. There was no TV, no phone, just a dusty dresser and a vanity with a mirror turned backwards. And on the bed sat the woman, Judith. She was facing away from me, brushing her hair slowly. The brush moved through the air, not touching her strands at all. I whispered, "Ma'am?" She didn't move. Then, without turning around, she said, "You shouldn't have come in." Her voice sounded doubled, like someone else was saying it at the same time, deeper and slower. I stepped back. The door slammed shut. Lights off. Total blackness. I felt something shift in the air, like the room was shrinking or I was growing smaller. My hand searched the wall, looking for the knob. It was gone. Then I heard breathing. Heavy, guttural, right behind me. I spun around, but I couldn't see anything. Then a voice hissed, "Turn around." I did. Judith was standing an inch from my face. Only it wasn't her anymore. Her face was wrong, hollowed out, eyes empty. Mouth stretched into a gash that ran ear to ear. She raised a hand, not to strike, but to touch me. I screamed and threw myself backwards. I don't know how, but the door was open again. I ran. All the way down the hallway, back to the stairwell, back to the lobby. The clock said 3:47 a.m., but it felt like I had been gone for hours. The computer no longer showed room 1313. The guest registry was normal. All the cameras were working again. I quit that night. My manager didn't believe me. Said maybe I fell asleep, had a dream at the desk. But I know what I saw. A month later, the hotel shut down. Mold issues, they said. But I check the reviews sometimes. And every once in a while, someone posts a photo. Room 1313. Door slightly open. Caption says, "Weird. Didn't think hotels had a 13th floor." I never click on the photos, because I know what's inside. And I'm afraid one day, the picture will show me.